there, I'm Abby from the product marketing team at Houzz Pro. Today, I'm going to show you how to set up and use cost codes in Houzz Pro and how they work across estimating, budgeting, selections, and job cost tracking, including assigning cost codes to time and expenses to automate your budgets. Cost codes help you organize project costs with more detail than basic categories. Each cost category represents a phase of construction, and each cost code represents a specific type of cost within that phase. This structure helps you standardize budgets, compare your estimated versus actual costs, and get a clearer financial picture of reporting across all of your projects. To enable cost codes, go to the Company tab and select Categories. In the top right-hand corner, choose Setup Cost Codes. From here, you'll be given two different setup methods. You can choose to create or import new cost codes. You'll want to choose this if you'd like to use the Houzz Pro default cost codes or if you want to build your own manually. Choosing this option is going to archive any of your existing categories and uncategorize any of the items that you've previously saved into My Items, but you can always reassign those to cost codes later. The second option, to use your current categories as cost categories, is going to allow you to keep your current categories and add cost codes to those existing categories. This is going to be best if you already use categories that follow a cost code style format. Next, you're going to want to choose your default estimating method. Estimating by cost code is going to give you a high-level approach. It's going to allow you to enter a dollar value per cost code. So you can see in this example, windows and doors, $10,000. Estimating by cost items is going to be more granular. This is going to allow you to break each cost code into specific materials, labor, or assemblies. So you can see here, instead of the windows and doors 10,000, we have it split up into the actual door, the lever, etc. You should choose the method that best fits how you typically estimate. For today's demonstration, I'm going to choose to use our Houzz Pro cost codes. So I'm going to create or import new cost codes, and I'm going to choose Estimate by Cost Codes. Next, I'm going to click Enable Cost Codes. And once cost codes are enabled, you're going to be able to choose to use the Houzz Pro cost codes or use your own. You'll see that this window has appeared. If you already have cost codes, you can upload those here, or you can choose to use the Houzz Pro defaults. Now I'm going to hit Next, and it's going to show me a preview of all of the Houzz Pro cost codes. Now, if you want to review these and decide if these are what you want to use, you can certainly do this, and you can always hit Cancel and back out if you choose not to use the Houzz Pro cost codes. We're going to check and include all of them, but like I mentioned, please feel free to review, uncheck ones that you don't need, and then hit Import Selected Cost Codes. Now, I'm going to click Done, and I want to point out something important. If you're using QuickBooks Online, you can map your cost codes to your QuickBooks account. We're going to click the Actions menu up at the top to do that, and then click Map to QuickBooks. This is going to take us to our QuickBooks mapping page where you'll be able to map all of your QuickBooks settings to the right accounts. I'll be sure to link the Help Center article for QuickBooks in this video tutorial, so that way if you need some help setting up your QuickBooks cost codes mapping, you can do so quickly and easily. Now that we've enabled cost codes into our Houzz Pro account, they're now going to be available for you to use on any new projects and any new leads. Any existing leads or projects will not have the cost code system available to them. It's only going to be for those new projects moving forward. Let's go ahead and build a new project together so you can see what I mean. Over on the left-hand side, I'm going to choose to create a new project. I'm going to name it Graham Residence. And any new project or any new lead that you create after turning on cost codes will have cost codes available. Now, let's create an estimate together. In the top right-hand corner, I'm going to choose to create a new estimate, and I'm going to create this one from scratch since I just started using cost codes. Once that estimate appears for me, over on the right-hand side, you'll notice that I now have cost codes over in the right-hand navigation of my estimate. Here, you're going to be able to browse, search, and add cost codes to your estimate, and you can save your estimate as a template once you've built and added everything that you need. So we can easily expand and go through these sections and add specific cost codes and cost categories to our estimate. I'm going to just use this preparation and preliminary section and go ahead and add all of these cost codes to my estimate in the right order. Okay, perfect. But just like I did here, clicking that plus icon is going to add those directly onto my estimate. You can also use the quick search down at the bottom if you'd rather do that to add cost codes quickly to your estimate. If you chose earlier to estimate by cost codes, you can just enter in a dollar amount for these specific values. So maybe the architectural plans cost $8,500. You can add in that dollar amount to this cost code plans. You can also choose what this is. Is it material? Is it labor? Is it product? Is it a service? And assign that to the specific cost code. So the architectural drawings were a service. So I'm going to go ahead and mark that as a service. You can also add in the markup, etc., like you're used to doing normally. If you do want to get more detailed on a project by project basis, but you chose view by cost code earlier on, you can also choose to view by cost item if you prefer to break it down. This is going to allow you to break down a single cost code into individual materials or labor items while still rolling all of those costs up into the main code. So you can just click and change to view by cost item, and then you'll be able to add items underneath this. So if we need something in addition to those architectural plans, maybe we want to add a different plan type, we want to add in landscaping plans that we also want under 1010 plans, we can do that here as well. And then maybe those were 2,500. We can add that in right here to our estimate, and both are going to roll up to this 1010 plans for a total of $11,000. So you're going to continue to do that process throughout your new cost code estimate. And when your estimate is ready, you can save this as a template. So just like you're used to doing, you can use that actions menu up at the top to save the cost coded estimate as a template. Name that however you wish. If this is your base template that you always do, you can do that. If you like to create templates based off of the scope of your project, you can also do that as well. And then you'll be able to start those new projects using your new code template. Now that we've seen how to build an estimate and save that estimate as a template, let's get into the more important pieces where job costing comes into play. So we can very quickly turn this estimate into a budget just by clicking Sync to Budget. This is where job costing is really going to come full circle for us. And now we're going to click and view our project budget. The budget is now going to display our cost codes, our estimated amounts, and later on, the actual cost for this project. As part of the cost codes feature, you can actually assign cost codes to your time and expenses, and that's going to automate the budget for you. So if I have an expense for plans, I can mark that expense as 1010 plans, and that actual is going to automatically appear in my budget, so that way I have a real-time look at what the expenses are on this project and where I'm over and under. Let's take a look at that together and build an expense together. So we're going to go out to time and expenses, and this is going to be consistent whether you're doing it on desktop, whether you're doing it on mobile, etc. You'll be able to add those cost codes to your expenses. I'm going to choose the expenses tab, and I'm going to create my first time entry for this project. I'm going to choose my service. So this is going to be plans, created plans. And now I'm going to choose my cost code that I needed to go with. It's going to give me this cost code dropdown, and I'm going to choose that this one was plans as well. Let's say that this one was $10,750, quantity of 1, and I spent that today. I'm going to go ahead and hit save. And now we can go back to our budget and see that this expense for architectural plans, cost code 1010 plans, is automatically going to appear under 1010 plans on the budget. We can see right here that it's automatically synced that information in, so you're getting access to real-time job costing right here. You can see the variance. We have an extra $250 on this line item, so you can see exactly where the money is going throughout the duration of the project. Something important to note is up at the top of the screen, you can also choose to view by cost code or cost item. And this is going to work very similarly to how it works on the estimate. And so you can just change and then hit generate, and it's going to adjust the view. So now you can see that it's broken down into my architectural plans and landscaping plans, just like we did together on the estimate itself. Cost codes will also play an important role in your selections process. So let's take a look at an example of how cost codes plays into the clipping process so that you can see how cost codes carry through all the way. Right now, we're looking at an example of a sconce on the Visual Comfort website that I want to pull into my selections, and I also want to assign to the appropriate cost code for lighting. I'm going to open the Houzz Pro Clipper tool. I'm going to use AI to autofill the product information that's found on this page, so that way I can scrape the page for the SKU number, the installation details, the dimensions, etc. And it's going to go ahead and pre-populate all that information for me. Now I want to choose the appropriate cost code for this fixture. So I'm going to choose electrical, and I'm going to choose decorative light fixtures. Next, I'm going to choose which project. It was that Graham Residence project, and I can also choose the room that I want to assign it to. I haven't created any rooms yet, so I'm going to just create one now and call it primary bathroom. Now, when I save that to Houzz Pro, it's saving to that decorative light fixtures cost code, so that way we can reuse that information later on. Let's jump over into the Houzz Pro app and I'll show you more. Now, back inside my project in Houzz Pro, I'm going to navigate to selection boards and open that primary bathroom selection board that we just created together. We can click and see this light fixture and still see that cost code so that it's tied and linked all the way through based on that specific cost code. I can also navigate through my items using cost codes. So I can choose to filter and view specific cost codes. We're going to need tile for this bathroom, so I'm going to view only the products that I have in my library that are for the tile and stone cost code. Now I can quickly add that, and then I can do the same thing so that I can find cabinet hardware, can apply that filter, and then I can add the specific cabinet hardware that I want to use in this bathroom project. Now moving over to the selections tracker, that's where these cost codes are really going to be helpful. Now we're looking at the selections tracker, which can be accessed just by choosing the selections tracker over on your left-hand sub-menu. This is where the power of cost codes and selections is going to be really, really strong. Say, for example, you need to create a lighting schedule to share with your electrician. You can do that very quickly by filtering by cost code. Let's choose decorative light fixtures. And then once we hit apply, it's going to look across all of the rooms, all of the selection boards, and create a consolidated list of all of the items using that cost code for 1540 decorative light fixtures. You can do the same thing with plumbing. You can do the same thing with any that you've created, so that way you can really narrow things down. You can also choose to sort by or organize by cost code so that you can condense and view the information that you need to view exactly when you need to see it. Earlier, we had talked about how you may end up with some uncategorized items within my items, and now I'm going to show you how to quickly update those items. So over on the main left-hand menu, I'm going to choose My Items. Now the list of any of the items that I've added into Houzz Pro are going to appear here for me. Let's say, for example, we need to update this monogram range. Right now you can see that it switched to uncategorized because I chose to upload new cost codes. Now I want to apply this to my appliances category. So I am going to search appliances, and I'm going to reassign that item to appliances. Now, if I reuse that monogram range over again in the future, it will go ahead and be updated and it will be saved to appliances. So you can do this quickly just by scanning through and reassigning each item one by one. Alternatively, if I know that these two items both need to be assigned to the same cost code, I can check the box next to each of those items, Click Assign to Cost Code up at the top, and then choose My Cost Code for Appliances and reassign those items even faster. If you ever need to make changes to your company default cost codes, you can simply edit, archive, or add new cost codes at any time. You'll want to go back to Company and then Cost Codes to make any of those changes. You can expand all or collapse all to see what your existing cost codes are, and you can also edit or archive those items in line and then archive just by clicking those three dots. If it's ever needed, you can also disable cost codes by clicking the Actions menu and choosing Disable Cost Codes. Note that this is only going to affect your future projects, not the existing ones. So keep that in mind. We'd recommend that you do not switch back and forth between cost codes and not having cost codes. I think that's about it. Cost codes are going to work for you across all of your financial documents. So we took a look at estimates, we took a look at selections, time and expenses today, but it's also going to apply for your change orders, your invoices, etc. That's our overview on enabling and using cost codes in Houzz Pro. Cost codes are going to give you that full visibility into your project financials and are going to make it much easier for you to track your estimated versus actual costs, organize your selections, and improve your job cost reporting. As always, we recommend that you work with a bookkeeper if you've never used cost codes before to make that decision and be sure that it's the right decision for you and for your business. Thank you for watching.